Hello again, Mythers. This is Adrenaline, once again bringing you a video review. This is Myth World Cup 2018. DE1 match between TMNT, led by Giant Killer General in the black, and TGP, Team Good Players, led by Vasazel in the Renwood Peach. What a fucking awful color choice. Anyways, the map is Barbarian Valley Tournament Edition Light. The game is Territories. Anyways, spoiler alert, because it's the only game I'm covering of the match. The match ended 4-1 in favor of TMNT. This is the one and only game that TGP managed to win, and I want to see how and why that happened. If it was something, TGP did right, or maybe something TMNT did wrong, or a combination of both. I think most people were expecting, myself included, a 5-0 sweep. TMNT is a perennial favorite. They are playing 67, but they have a pretty stacked roster, especially when you line the two up on paper. They are the heavy favorites going into this game and this match in general. Anyways, looks like both teams have traded, so we're going to take a look at the unit trades and how they split. See, TGP opted for 14 bowmen, 4 dwarves, max pus. They're slightly shy of max warriors. The max is 27. They seem to have gotten 25. It's alright, 2 warriors, not a game changer. TMNT, on the other hand, have opted for a few less bows, with 10, only 1 dwarf given to a DAC, and yeah, so definitely different strategies being employed here. You can see GKG is opting to split the warriors basically mostly between himself and Eastwind, presumably doing a rush. Well, I mean, I've watched this game already, so I know they're doing a rush with HMP on a small doll pack. They're going to be rushing south. GKG is employing a 2-prong attack here. He's going to be sending the bulk of the warriors south and lining up his artillery in this area, middle, right here. Whereas TGP is electing to do a little more of a passive strategy. Call it kind of a reactive strategy as opposed to an active strategy. GKG is definitely taking the fight to them. And yeah, TGP is going to be a little more default, kind of lining up in this area of middle and reacting to whatever goes on. They are going to send a small force north too. I'll comment on that in a minute. And that's pretty much that. You can see they've pretty much spread evenly all their warriors. They got Drunken and Master Chief on the bows, on the bulk of the artillery. Argos does have a dwarf heading north with himself and Alfie.
Game
so,
on.
As I see it, you're going to have a much larger force hammering into a slightly smaller force. I know those two statements contradicted each other, whatever. Anyways, as you can see, TGP is electing to send, I'd say, a fair amount of warriors north. I wouldn't call that enough warriors for what this flank is intending to do. That is not enough warriors to really overwhelm almost anything, except maybe like if Donsky went north solo with what he's got here. Yeah, they could probably run over that handily. I'm sure Donsky would hold his own, but yeah, GKG would never send something off into an isolated area with no backup. He's smarter than that. So I do not like this flank, particularly because it is going all the way north. I think what they should have done is send 1 or 2 in for the tag and scout, then peeled off in this direction through this opening, leaving themselves more options. They could get anywhere on the map a lot quicker from there. Conversely, I don't fully agree with what GKG is doing here. I mean, it's not evident yet, but I'll get to that in a minute when they get closer. And really, it won't make sense until they're more in position, so I'll just speed this up a little bit. yeah, anyways, a little more default in this area.
Flag
As
captured.
I did say earlier, Foz is sending
Flag
in
captured.
the scouts, and at this point he is probably seeing the rush coming. Yeah, he's turning around, hightailing it out.
Flag captured.
So good on him for having the foresight to scout that as effectively as he did. I'm just going to slow this down because there's a lot to explain in a short period of time here. I'm not a huge fan of the positioning here. I mean, Dak's fast enough moving that he should be able to get anywhere sooner. Donsky, he's fine where he is. He's taking the high ground. That's good. Kruniak should be maybe more off on this side. Just able to coordinate a little better with the rush pack going in. Alright, definitely have to slow this down now. So what I was saying about what I don't agree with here, I think GKG being in the back may have elected to go this way as opposed to going in with Eastwind and HMP here, and hopefully having either Kruniak or Donsky able to push through here, and that way they probably could have tag teamed this arty force of Drunken while Master Chief, Vasazel, and Foz were tied up with Eastwind and HMP. I mean, they didn't have to go in right away. They could have tried to split this force together, I think, and hammer them from two angles, as opposed to getting themselves into what I consider a bit of a terrain trap here, honestly. It's because they scouted it, saw it coming, Vasazel and Foz are able to shift early enough to get in a good position here and really block the attack, keeping it into this smaller confined space. Whereas had they reacted slower or been diverted, if their attention was diverted for a few seconds, and HMP could have pushed through into this area, and you know, Eastwind, GKG, whoever's in the fight right now, probably could have brought it out into this more open area, had more maneuverability, able to get around with their pus calls and whatnot, stay a little more spaced out to defend against the pus. So anyways, it didn't happen. TGP did a good job of reacting quick and yeah, taking care of that, and they're going to have some backup with Master Chief coming in here. You can see the numbers definitely do favor TMNT here. I'd say overwhelmingly at this point. They just need to get rid of that dwarf, and we'll see what happens there in a minute. So GKG now leading the charge. Bit of an early pus there. I think his warriors are still a little too far back to really take advantage of that. I mean, the pus landed well, froze enough warriors and everything, but had he been up just a little bit, he would have been able to do a lot more damage. But I think he's more concerned right now with getting in and pussing that dwarf. Vasazel here, a bit of a miss pus. I see what he was going for there, but unfortunately didn't hit. That was a good pus, really good pus. Almost killed the dwarf. Should be able to get in there quick. Master Chief gets off a good pus against GKG, kind of stopping him in his tracks. Great pus by Foz. Super unfortunate dud there by HMP, and unfortunately autos probably on this warrior as he was doing that. He should have had that thing spaced, unfortunately, you know, doing so much at the same time, but that dud was brutal. Another really good pus by Foz here. Yeah. And because this dwarf lives, like, the coordination between that was good, really good. Now he gets one shot off on those frozen warriors and just destroys it. And Eastwind does finally kill that dwarf too little too late. I think he got that pus off maybe a half second too late. And it's unfortunate that they had to throw 3 pus to kill that. I mean, that dud was just game changing for them. I think that was some serious bad luck for TMNT 3. I think Eastwind probably could have pulled out here. He's going up against greater numbers. Yeah, he's got the health advantage, but those galls will do work if they're not targeted right away. And GKG is just like, peace. Yeah, he should have walked out of that with GKG and kept a little melee alive. So as you can see, I'm just going to say that fight's pretty much over. That dud did cost him this fight. I'll just straight up say that right now. That was too bad. Or GKG could have killed that right away with that first pus and got in and got one swing. This fight probably would have ended different. Not to take anything away from TGP, they played great there. They got in there, kept them confined to the space, had some great pus from both Master Chief and Foz. I think Vasazel got one decent one off there too. Great shot from the dwarf by Vasazel. Just, yeah, heads up and solid play by them and some unfortunate luck and honestly a little bit of poor play, poor coordination by TMNT. Their HMP, while having that terrible dud, unfortunate, also had that auto on GKG's Warriors, which did nothing to help them, unfortunately. So anyways, with that fight over, we can kind of shift over here and see what's going on with the rest of the match. See, Kroon here is facing off versus Drunken. He's got a numbers disadvantage, but terrain advantage for sure. I think Drunken should be pushing this situation right now. He should have his melee up behind him and just, yeah, getting in there and using his numbers advantage. He shouldn't be too worried about Donsky right now. If Donsky makes, can't even talk straight right now. If Donsky makes too much of a move, these guys should be on top of the situation. So he should be basically 1v1 with Kroon at this point, if these guys coordinate correctly.
Flag lost.
Yeah, that's kind of the way it's playing out. Kroon's doing a good job of using his height advantage here for sure. Drunken should still be a little more spread out and engaging, but that's fine. He's got MC coming in to back him up, so that should be enough. They gotta be pushing here. I don't know why they're not yet. I'm sure they will. Unless one of them is going in to fight Donsky. These guys should be in on this right now. They got two pus there. Really all they need to do is tag team Dax Dwarf and rush this. Get in with the Dwarf behind.
Flag contested.
Yeah, a little bit of slow action right now.
Flag
We'll speed that up. Alright, they're coming in for the attack, and right off the bat, where the fuck is Dak going?
Flag contested.
I guess he's got to deal with Visazel. Maybe should have just sent 2 warriors back, maybe 3 to be safe, and kept his Dwarf and Journeyman in the action. But he's still running away. I think at this point he's probably a little bit worried about getting flagged as well. But certainly now that Visazel's out of the equation, he's got to be up here bailing Donsky out, and he is nowhere to be seen. I did tell Dak that I was going to comment on this, so this won't be a surprise to him. He knows. He knows he fucked up. Yeah, I mean that he didn't have to kill that archer, Bowman, but whatever, that happens. Is there any action going on anywhere else? Yeah, Kruniak's got to deal with these fucking warriors harassing him while greater number comes in. He's doing well, just not to take too much damage yet. Yeah, I'd say TMNT is not long for life here. They are at a significant, not only flags disadvantage, which isn't, yeah, it's getting to be a factor too, just over 2.5 minutes left. But they're at a severe artillery disadvantage now. They've got a lot of Bowmans on TGP still, probably more melee if you look at, maybe not total numbers, but they've certainly got more warriors and health at this point. Just so many bows. What's going on? Where the fuck am I looking?
Flag lost.
There's a little dwarf battle here. Let's watch this. Sorry, I got spazzed out there for a minute. Nope. Close, but not quite.
Flag lost.
A great little move by Dak there to avoid that one. This should be a trade.
Flag captured.
Fuck. Unfortunate bounce, unfortunate dead. Great little move there to get around that one shot, stay alive, and that would have been a trade under most circumstances, I believe. But I think, yeah, this game's pretty much over. Let's just take a look at the stats, see what's what. Ouch. I mean, I definitely understand where GKG was going with that strat. I liked his strat overall. There's a couple things that he probably could have changed, and I'm saying this from a casual perspective here, different perspective, sorry. It's, you know, I've got not only hindsight, I've watched the film a few times, I've got this huge overview, I can see what's going on all corners of the map. So, I mean, in-game, it's definitely more situational. You're not going to have all these advantages I just mentioned. So take it for what it is. Ideally, this is what I would like to see happen, you know, whatever I was commenting on, but it's neither here nor there. TGP did a great job. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They played really well in this game. They were the better team. Vasazel played well. Quick reaction, like I said, to close him into that train trap. Foz with just some spectacular passing. He had great pass, no duds, no bounces. I mean, the stars just aligned for him this game for sure. Great play. Master Chief, I think he was their artillery backup. He came in behind with the bows and everything. Clearly had a great game. I did say he had a really good pass earlier in the game and clearly did some work with the bows as well. Drunken was really just kind of a placeholder sitting in here with a large enough artillery force that Kruniak couldn't push him. Donsky wasn't able to push him because of that flank coming in from the north. So he just sat there, didn't have to do much, just kind of keep those guys from getting involved in the fight. And I would say GKG put a lot of stock in that rush going well, which, I mean, it could have, if they killed that dwarf sooner, if he was able to capitalize on his first pass, which was a really good pass. Just needed one hit on that thing and it would have been dead. And then that dud by HMP on it was kind of fucking nail in the coffin for them. Unfortunately, they had some tough breaks in that game. Donsky seemed to do fairly well for what he had. His team was already at a significant numbers disadvantage. I think Kruniak again stayed alive for as long as he could, given his disadvantage of slow-moving melee and less bows. He wasn't really in a position to push ever in that game, unless, like I said, GKG maybe came through this area instead of going all the way south with east wind. So I think tactically it could have been played a little bit different. I like the strategy overall. I mean, TGP's strategy, it's not what won them the game at all. I think it was pretty passive. It was just good reaction, just having that ability to react. It was just kind of happenstance that GKG happened to rush south, or maybe, I don't know, Vasazel did his homework and saw GKG do this in a previous tournament and figured he'd try the same thing. I don't get why he'd send that group of warriors and stuff north if that was the case, if he was expecting it. So I think it was just kind of good fortune that the rush happened to be going on over where they were kind of stationed, because if, like I said, if that rush was able to get into the backfield more and penetrate, they would have had many more angles of attack, and the game could have went a different way in a hurry. So, yep, that's pretty much the review right there. I think it easily could have gone the other way if one puss didn't dud, or they were able to get one swing of the axe on that one dwarf. And, yep, that's how myth goes, especially light myth. You know, duds do happen. And yeah, that's the game. Anyways, good job to TGP. They're able to take one game off a much superior team, and I think it was QR2. They're also able to take one game off my team, 7th Legion. So they definitely show some potential here, and if they grow as a team, you know, some of their individuals kind of step up their game a bit more. Maybe in future years we'll see a little more from them. Anyways, until next time. Peace.